Alright, I have installed the two nodes, node 1 and node 2, and I installed the Windows Server 2008 on both the nodes. Applied the service pack, latest service pack SP2 on both the nodes. Now let us go through what we have. We have created the three virtual machines. All three has Windows Server 2008 and applied the SP2 on all the three machines. Okay, I will create domain on this cluster DC machine, make it as a domain controller, and I will join these two computers to that domain. And after that, I will cluster these two machines and create a Windows cluster. And after that, I will install SQL Server 2008 on both the nodes and to set up the failover clustering. Okay, the mission name that you see here, cluster DC node 1 and node 2, actually these are the VMware mission names, not actually the mission names inside that box. Let us go through each mission. Okay, let's start configuring the servers. Maximize the virtual machine. This is our cluster DC machine. This will act as a domain controller. Now we need to see the computer name. It has got some junk name. Change it as some meaningful name. I will name it as cluster DC, same as the virtual machine name from the VMware. And it says we need to restart the computer. Okay, go ahead and restart the computer. Now let us go to the node 1 and node 2, replace the computer names as well there. So now I am in node 2. As you can see from this, I'm going to change the computer name for the node 2 mission as node 2. Again, restart this node 2 mission to reflect that name. Go to the node 1. Do the same thing. Change the computer name from whatever the default VMware has given to the node 1. Okay, I renamed the computers for all the three machines. Now let us go to the cluster DC machine. Still it has not been booted up. Okay, I logged in as administrator on the cluster DC machine. Now I'll go ahead and set up. Okay, before setting up any configurations, we need to turn off the UAC, disable the Windows firewall. Okay, and set the password for the administrator and whatever the other user accounts, and apply all the latest service packs. We need to follow all these things on all the three machines. And for the clustering, we need to have .NET Framework 3.5 SP1. If we apply SP2, Windows Service Pack SP2, it will be there already, the framework 3.5. So we don't need to especially do that, because let us start creating the domain. Before that, we need to set the network configuration. We have one, but we already set up the private IP. One more, oh, not for this. Okay, sorry, this is cluster DC. We have given just one network adapter. We don't need private we don't need private IP, or we don't need to have one more network adapter for this mission. So this is fine, but we need to give the IP address. We have listed down the IP addresses that we are going to use. Okay, for the domain controller mission, I'm going to use 192.168.1.110, and for the node 1, 111, and for the node 2, 112. Okay, so let's give 110. So we are not going to use the IPv6, just the IPv4s. Go to the properties, and we need static IPs, not the dynamic. 10. So here the default gateway points to the router IP address. Here for this mission, in my home network, I have the router IP, which is 192.168.1.1. I'm going to give that so that I can connect to internet and apply any service packs or whatever it is. .1. Okay, and the preferred DNS server will be the loopback, as you can see that here. Sorry, the reverse way. Okay, now I will start creating the domain DC promo. Let's go to the other nodes and see if those machines have booted. Okay, and now here we don't need to use the advanced mode. Just say next, click next, and we are going to create new domain. Let us call the domain name as metamanager.local. and the functional level is Windows Server 2008. Click next. Yes, we are going to install the DNS server on this domain. Click next. Here, that is fine, say yes. For storing the Active Directory stuff, that is fine, accept the default, say next. The directory server password, click next. Now it is going to take some time to install the DNS and create the domain. I will pause the video and I will come back once the installation is completed. Okay, the DNS setup has been completed. Maximize the window, click finish, and we need to restart the machine. Okay, it's going to restart the cluster DC machine. Again, it will take some time. Let me pause and I'll get back once the machine is booted up.